Hello, my wonderful friends. This is Shelley. Thanks again for joining me in another tutorial. You'll be glad you joined this one because we're going to learn a new stitch. I just learned it as well, and I give credit to Myra. She is a member of my Facebook Koala Knits and Knacks Facebook group, and she has made a lot of different items with this stitch, and she taught it to us, and I'm happy to be able to make a video to show everybody how to use it, how to do it. And so anyways, I am using Heartland yarn, Lion Brand Heartland yarn. It's my favorite yarn in the colorway Rocky Mountains. They have so many beautiful colors. Any color that you choose from this line of yarn, you're going to absolutely love. It makes a beautiful product. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead, and I'm using my 48 needle Sentro, but you can use your 46 needle Addy, or you can make it with a smaller circumference for a child and use the 40 needle if you prefer. Okay, so once you have your supplies ready, we're going to get going, and we're going to learn a new technique. I hope you have fun. Please show me in my Facebook group, and all the rest of us, we would love to get this pattern circulated. Okay, and also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button underneath this video. Friends, that means a lot to me when you do that. It's easy for you to do and it's free. So if you don't mind doing that, please do, and I'd appreciate it so much. All right, so when you have your materials ready, we're going to get started. Okay, friends, let's have some fun. We're going to bring our last pink and our first white in line with our yarn feeder. Now, this is marked so that this pink is number 1 and this white is the last one, but I like to have the white as the first one. So if you go by the numbers that are on there, then you'll have your last white and the first pink lined up. But this is how I do it, and then I take a marker, permanent marker, and I mark that divider between the two, so I always see it coming around. I just like that one to be first, okay? Because I'm used to my Addy, the black one, being first. We're going to take our contrasting color of yarn. We're going to put waste yarn on. So we're going to go behind and in front, behind and in front, all the way around to cast on. I love using my Sentros. I use my Addies most of the time, as you know, from my channel, but I do love to pull out this Sentro every once in a while and use it. It's a great machine too. Like, you know, there's no doubt the quality is different between the Addy. I mean, you know that just by looking at the price. Sometimes people will say, is there really a difference between the two? But I mean, seriously, if you look at the cost of them, there's obviously a huge difference in the way they're constructed, and so that's what makes the cost different. Number one, the Sentro's counters are horrible. I've just ordered 2 of the purple counters that have the magnets on them. I can't wait till they come in. Put one on this machine and one on my 40, and then I'll probably use it more. But I'm going to knit about 7 rows of waste yarn. But I do love the Sentro. One reason is because it's so soft and smooth. Like when you're turning the handle, like listen to it. It's quiet and it's just a smoother. The needles are a little bit different than the Addy in that I think that they're not as thick, they're not as well constructed, I don't think. And so that's why it feels a little bit different when you're actually knitting, but it's quieter. I can't explain it, but it is a quieter machine, and it seems like it's smoother when you're knitting, and that part I like. But the nook of the needle is a little bit shorter, I think, and so sometimes you can tuck stitches easier on your Sentro than you do on the Addy. That's just my observation. But anyways, I love them all. So if you can't afford an Addy and you want to get a machine, get a Sentro. You'll love it. You'll love it. It's just as good. Okay, so we're going to put that tail into the middle between the last pink and the first white. We're going to add our working yarn. Okay, so I'm going to pop that down into the machine. I'm going to hold both tails, and I'm going to knit 4 or 5 needles just like that. Then I'm going to grab the end of my working yarn, both ends, help that down underneath there, and I'm going to just tug it up. That way my tension is even at the beginning of my row as it is at the end. And we are going to knit 12 rows, okay? So you go ahead, knit 12 rows. I have to be careful to count. I've got my Susan Bates counter. So easy to lose track. So this is 2. I'm going to go ahead till I get 12 rows, and I'll see you back. And 12. I'm watching for that black divider to come around. so I know I'm at the end of my row. So we've done our first 12 rows of straight knitting. Now we are going to begin a 5-row repeat, okay? So set your counter to 0. I set this to 0 at the beginning of every row repeat, okay? And we are going to take our yarn out, we're going to leave it in our yarn guide. I almost did the lacing first. And our 5-row repeat starts with 4 rows of straight knit. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this is the first 4 rows of our 5-row repeat. Okay, I'm going to mark 4 off. You're going to take your yarn out of your yarn guide. Make sure it's between that last pink, the first white, or whichever is your last in your first needle. You're going to bring the first and the second needle so they're in the up position in front of your yarn feeder. And you're going to go in front, behind, underneath those nooks of the needle, and in front again. So I just wrapped it around. Then we're going to take the next 2 needles. Make sure they're both in the up position. We're going to go in front, behind, and in front. I'm not putting any tension like this because the next row that we do, I want it to be able to feed through the loops very easily, okay? We're going to go put the next 2 up. And you're going to go behind and in front, like around in a circle, just like that, okay? So it's coming in front. I never know whether to say in front or behind. For me, it's behind, but for you, it might be in front. So wrap it around your needles just like that, okay? Bring the next 2 up, and you're going to go in a circle all the way around, just like that, okay? All the way around, just like that. Next 2 needles. In front, behind, in front. In front, behind, in front. Next 2 needles and do the same thing. I can't wrap both of these needles with one hand. I have to use 2. Maybe in time I'll be able to use one, but I can't get it underneath the nook of the second of this needle with one hand. It just keeps slipping up because it's my left hand, right? So maybe I need to, because I need my right hand to turn my handle. So, so then I'm holding it in my left hand and might as well use 2 hands just like this. But if you can use one, all the power to you. Okay, so we're going to keep going around until we get all of our needles wrapped, two needles at a time. Just like that. Okay, so this is row 5 of our 5-row repeat. So fun. Always so fun to learn something new, isn't it? Okay. Now, Karen Blackness is a member of my Facebook Quilling Knits and Knacks group, and she showed us this. Well, she told us how to do it. She has posted many items with this lace stitch in it, and she learned it from knitting socks on a sock loom or a sock machine. And so I asked her if I could make a video on it because everybody wants to know how to do it. And of course, it was fine with her because it's not something she made up. It's something she learned for her sock machine. But regardless, thank you so much, Myra, for showing us this because it's really, really very beautiful. So I wrapped my last 2. I put it back into my yarn feeder. Now I'm going to change my counter to 0 again. And I'm going to repeat that row repeat. So I'm going to do 4 rows. I'm going to go slow this first row because I want to make sure that those loops are dropping down over those pink teeth before the needle picks it up. When you wrap them, it's a little bit different feel, but that's why I say don't wrap them tight because look how beautifully this is working. So that's 1, and I'm going to mark it because I just can lose count so easily. And this is 2. Mark it. Seems silly to mark it after each one, but you know what? When I'm talking to you, I lose count so easily. This is 4. Okay, so 4 rows of straight knitting, Now we're going to do our lace. So we're going to take it out of the yarn feeder, make sure it's between the last and the first. Bring up those first 2 needles and we're going to wrap them in front, behind, in front. Bring up the next 2 and wrap, and the next 2 and wrap. And we're going to repeat this process all the way around. So fun. Okay, so this is row 5 of our 5-row repeat. You keep going till you get to the end, and then I'll see you back. Okay, so that's the completion of row 5. I'm going to go ahead till my last pink, first white are in line with my yarn feeder, and I can put my yarn back into the machine. I don't know what happened to my tensioner. I just noticed it's not there. Okay, and then set my counter to 0. And we're going to repeat that 5-row repeat 2 more times. So we're going to do 4 straight rows, 1 row of lace. 4 straight rows, 1 row of lace. And when you do that and have that completed, come back and see me and we'll move on to the next part of the pattern, okay? So 4 rows of straight knitting, just like this, and 1 row of lace. 4 rows of straight knitting, 1 row of lace. We'll see you back. Okay, I just finished row 5 of my 5-row repeat, okay, and we've done it 4 times, and now we're going to finish it off with just 4 rows of straight knit, okay, and we're not done the headband, we just started on this section, okay, so this is 4, now do 4 more rows. This is 1 and 2, and 3, and 4. I see the black divider coming around, so I know I'm done. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to do the 12 rows that equal the 12 that we started with. So we did 12, then we did 4, and then we started our lace, okay? Now we've done the 4, and we need to do another 12. So now you can set your counter to 0 again if you need to. I'm going to do that once I find it. And then you're gonna knit 12 more rows. And when you have your 12 rows done, come back and see me. Okay, so we've got our last 12 rows done, and look at it, it's just looking so beautiful. You can see it already. It's so gorgeous. You cut off your end. You place it between the last pink and the first white. Then you are going to grab your waste yarn, okay? Whatever waste yarn color you're using. Let me find the end in this one. Let me see, are you going to give me some trouble? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop my waste yarn into my machine, just like that, in between the last pink, the first white. And I'm going to knit. I'm going to knit 7 or 8 rows. You knit however many rows you feel comfortable knitting. Actually, I'm going to probably knit more than that because we're going to be grafting the 2 ends together. So we'll be you know, jostling with this a bit. And this, on this side of the work, the waste yarn just unravels so very, very easily. So I'm actually probably going to do 10 or even 12. I like this green and this black together. Those are 2 nice colors together. I'll have to consider making something with those 2. Looks very, very, very pretty. Okay, so you keep going. I think I'm almost done here. I might just do 2 more rows. I'll go a little bit faster. This is Bernat Premium in black, and it works well on my machine. 1 more. Okay, I'm going to stop there, cut it off. Put it into the center between the last pink, the first white. Then I'm going to rotate my barrel Do it twice and it will come off. There we go. Friends, look at that. It is so gorgeous. You do that and make a full scarf and oh, it's just lovely. It's beautiful. But you can see the reason now why well, I'm going to show you in a second. Let me take my machine off and then I'll have a better work area and I'll tell you what we're going to do next. All right, friends. So isn't this gorgeous? You're going to stretch it widthwise and lengthwise. I've already did it slightly, so I'm just doing it really simply here. Now, the reason why we needed to do this flat stitching on both of these sides is because this essentially is going to be folded in this way. Just going to give you a general idea, and then we're going to do the Kitchener stitch to close it up, okay? And this one will be in this way. So the inside that's against your head, half of it is on each end, and that's going to be sewn together and underneath like that, and this is the headband that's going to be on your head. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So that's just a rough thing. We're going to now do our join. So we're going to just keep this coming inside just like that. Put it one inside the other, just like that, okay? And we are going to find our first and our last stitch with our handy dandy stitch markers. So grab your stitch markers. I use bobby pins, okay? So we're going to find our, which end is this? This is the end. This is the end of our project because it unravels so very easily. So you're going to take your yarn tail here, and whatever stitch that's coming out of, you're going to put your stitch marker in there. We want to know the first and the last of each of these pieces, okay? Then right to the left of it, you've got this loop that is attached to this working yarn here. That's the one that you're going to put your stitch marker in, okay? Make sure those are both outside of your work. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side, okay? So just facing me, I'm going to pull this yarn tail here, and it's, I got to put it this way. I can't tell otherwise, okay? So this yarn tail here is coming under this stitch. This is the last stitch. So we're going to put that yarn marker there, and then right to the left of it, you will see where this yarn tail is coming out from your work. The loop that's right to the left of it, right beside it, is where you're going to put your stitch marker. Okay, so now we have our stitch markers all put in place. We can begin stitching our project up. Okay. All right, so we're ready to do our Kitchener stitch. So you're going to put a long piece of yarn, one that will easily go around your piece, onto your needle. Okay. And I'm going to just move this so that it's more like this, okay? So it's more like how it's supposed to be. On my last video where I did a headband like this, I did it at the end here, and that works fine too. But we're gonna just move it so that the inside and the inside are both going down, okay? And we're going to take our first stitch marker on the bottom here, and we're going to go from, I'm going to call this the inside, okay? And this the outside, and this the outside. We're going to go from the inside up the loop of that first stitch marker and pull it through. Then we're going to go from the inside up the loop of the stitch marker on the top, okay? Now we have joined these two. So that same stitch that we went into before, we're going to go from the outside to the inside, and then the inside to the outside on that next stitch, doing 2 stitches, okay? So let's look at that again. This is the first stitch we worked. This is where the stitch marker is in. We're going to go from the outside. This is the outside. That's the outside. This is the inside, okay? That's how I'm going to refer to it. We're going to go from the outside to the inside, then from the inside to the outside. And we're going to pull that stitch. Just nice and tight. Not tight, just an even tension, okay? Then we're going to go from the outside. This is the first stitch that we worked, from the outside to the inside, inside to the outside. And we're going to pull that. Okay? Going to try to make our tension match the tension that we used on our machine, okay? So outside, then go down to that first row. This was the stitch that we worked. We're always going to go back to the stitch that we last worked. We're going to go from the outside to the inside, inside to the outside. Okay, back up to the top. This was the last stitch we worked. Outside to the inside, inside to the outside. And we're going to pull that. Once we get a little further down, then all these yarn tails don't get in your way, okay? And back down. This was the last stitch we worked here. So outside to the inside, inside to the outside in that next stitch. And pull that. Outside to the inside, inside to the outside. So easy. But if you follow those terms, then it helps you remember which direction you're going, okay? So let's just turn this just a little bit. Outside to the inside, inside to the outside. Outside to the inside, inside to the outside. And then you try to match up that tension just like that, okay? So again, this is the stitch we worked previously. Outside to the inside, next stitch, inside to the outside. This is the stitch up here we worked previously. Outside to the inside, inside to the outside. Does that make sense? Tell me in the comments if that made sense or if this is confusing, okay? From the outside, with my pointed needle to the inside, inside to the outside. Outside to the inside, inside to the outside. We're going to do that all the way around, pulling your tension so that it's even. And when we remove our waste yarn, you're not even going to tell that there was a join. I love it. Okay, so continue on until you get all the way around, and I'll see you back. All right, so I'm at the end, and I have this one section to work, so where my stitch markers are. So I'm going to go from the inside to the outside, outside to the inside. My stitch marker fell out. I don't know how. Like, how does it fall out on its own? But it did. So I placed it where I think it should go. So we're going to see how this ends. Okay. And then on this side, we're going to go outside to inside, inside to outside into that last stitch where our stitch marker is. Okay. We're going to pull that. We got lots of little yarn tails coming out here, but here we go, we've got them separated now. So what I'm going to do is from this point I'm going to take off my waste yarn. Okay, so we're just going to set this aside. We're going to, let's do the one that's the hardest first. That's this one, okay, because it's the top of our work, the beginning, and so we need to find which direction that's going, just like that. Roll it up and see till you get that very top row, and you can rock that back and forth through that stitch so you know you're in the right place. And then let's just pull that top row out. Go down a few stitches, roll it up, pinch the stitch, and we're going to continue like that all the way around. Roll it up. I generally go down, I don't know, even up to 10 stitches. I think maybe now I said that and I've gone too far. So let's go a little closer. Just here. Pull that out. This one's, I can tell, going to give some problems because it's caught into, see where this snagged around that stitch, so that's where that would give me a little bit of problem. So I just had to cut that off. I'm going to cut this off just so it's easier to work, and then I'm going to just keep going. I split the stitch with my needle, and that's why it wouldn't come out. There we go. We are almost around. If you are in my Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks, you will notice that yesterday I posted a video showing how you can put one row of yarn in at the end of your waste yarn, and then all you have to do is pull that out and this whole thing comes off. I should really start doing that more, because it really, I mean, I love this way. I never have a problem with this. Now we're going to pull this. Even what just happened, I don't call that a problem. I just think that's easy to fix. But there is a simpler way, so to speak, to remove this. And so go check out that video. And if you're not a part of my Koala Knits and Knacks channel, then you should be. So come on over to Facebook and sign up, because this has given me a little bit of problems, which it generally doesn't, but it is today. I don't know, how come this isn't coming out? That one's stuck on a stitch too. I'm just going to persevere till I get it, because you know what? This happens. This is real life. Yep, see that little culprit? It was split. You see that? It's split around the stitch. So when I was picking up stitches, it just went around that stitch, and that's why it can't pull out. But you know what? It's easy to fix. Doesn't stress me out. Okay, so then we're going to take this other one off. Same way. This is the end of the project, so this one comes off very easily. You just have to unwind it. And I generally will wind these up as I'm pulling it off, but I'm throwing these ones out because I've used them several times. Okay. Actually, this one I haven't used several times. This came off of the ball, so I'll set this aside and I will actually wind this one up and use it again. Now let's see if I can successfully pull this out. Yep, easy. Easy peasy. Okay, so there we go. We've got our project. I'm going to separate these. I don't know if I stuck that stitch marker in the right one, but it's okay. I'm going to make that work too. Okay, so we're going to take our needle that has our thread on it. We are coming out this last stitch here. Okay, I'm going to skip this one here. Okay, and I'm going to just go down a row to this next one. Okay, and I'm going to go outside, inside. I can take that out. And I can take this one out. And you see how that fixed it? Because when we knit in the circular, and I didn't do this on my last video that I did this headband on, it was a mistake that I made, but I'm correcting it. When we're knitting in the round, as we know, when we change our colors, it always jogs up. So every row comes around, and then it goes up a row and comes around, and then it goes up a row and comes around. So we're going to fix that the way we attach this last yarn row. Okay, this last row. So now we're going to pull up on this. That was not the loop, but I'm going to just catch it because I don't want it to. There, now I'm going to take this out. I just don't want to lose it and have a row unraveled. So I'm not sure what row that was, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up the one from the outside to the inside, and then down to this one from the outside to the inside. I should have gone one lower. Leaving this on because you know what? I don't have all the answers. I am learning some of these things along with you too. And sometimes they're confusing, but you know, we just work at it together. So this is the row I'm in. I'm going to go down to this one right below it. And then we're going to take this out and we're going to see what kind of mess we have here. Okay. I don't think there's a mess at all. I think that perseverance paid off and it worked well. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to take these two ends here. I'm going to just grab them and we're going to tie a knot. Okay. Just a nice knot. Then I'm going to put them on my needle that has the bigger loop. Okay. My wool needle, metal wool needle. And then I'm going to hide that inside my work. And I'm going to cut that off. Okay. Now we've got these last two to work with. And I am going, this is the one that we've been sewing with, but I'm going to take this other tail here. And And I'm going to duplicate this one stitch because this one doesn't look very good because of the way I end it. I'm going to actually take this out. Take that last stitch out, okay? And then I'm going to go into there, into that point, to that next stitch, and come up to where this one is. Just so I can duplicate that stitch, just like that. And then I'm going to take this one. If you have to do this, you have to do it. You might not have to do it because I just made a little mistake when I lost my stitch marker. Then I'm going to take that one and go into that point where I was duplicating that stitch, and I'm going to come up. There's always a way to fix, okay? And there we go. And I'm going to take these two. I'm going to tie them in a knot. I'd say that's pretty good, okay? Not 100% perfect, but 99.9% good, okay? And so then we're going to, I hope that inspires you to know that if yours isn't perfect, it's okay. We do the best that we can, and sometimes we have a little blunder and we have to figure out how to fix it, and that's how you do it, okay? You do what makes sense. That's on the inside, and I'd say that is something I'm proud of, okay? So let me just put these aside. So ending off, I haven't got that part mastered yet, I'll be completely honest with you, but I'm working on it, and that's all that's required, okay? And we're going to now turn this so that we have those even rows at the top. So we did our 4 and our 4. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is where I get excited, and I think, why worry about those little things that don't matter? This is absolutely gorgeous. And when you stretch it out, it's going to be equally as gorgeous. See? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Isn't it just beautiful? Honestly, I love it. It's just like such an elegant, pretty headband to wear. So I hope you make some, and doesn't matter if you make them in solid colors or in multiple colors. Just go ahead and make them. Show us in my Facebook group. We'd love to cheer you on, see what you've done, and please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. All right, friends, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day.